Kia ora. Yeah, so um, my thinking has changed so much over the 3 years since I began this degree, and I think one thing that comes to mind is I kind of in the back of my mind, I always knew when kind of something something wasn't right, or something was there's something racist happening. I kind of knew, but I didn't really have the tools or the ability to be able to speak to it, or I never had the skills to be able to stand up to it and tell people how why it was wrong. And an example of this is, I guess, a brother-in-law of mine, and a Pākehā fella, not a bad fella, but always would say stuff, and it'd get my hackles up, and because deep down it was knew it was racist, and after I'd been a couple of years in the degree, um, I was able to defend or challenge him, and not only challenge him, but I because of the essays and that, I had evidence and research that I use in my debate against him, and it wasn't so much as he was trying to turn into the argument, I felt, but I was just using examples of and examples and research data that I'd found to counter some of the things was he saying. He's one of these typical fellows that just thought that Māori were lazy, unmotivated, blah blah. He really believed that, and I just told him about the stereotypes that New Zealand has created, and how these things are ingrained in New Zealand society, blah blah blah. Anyway, we went on, and he didn't speak to me for months after that, which didn't bother me at all, because I say pissed off with him. But anyway, maybe 8 months later, he turned up one day. He was an arborist to cut down my tree out of the blue. A tree that needed chopping down. It was going rotten. It was massive out the front of our house, hanging a bit over our house. And he turned up one day and just cut it down. And he's not a man to say sorry, but I understood then that was his way of saying sorry. And not only that, but then he went on to do a tikanga Māori course that taught him the tikanga Māori. He learnt how to mihi, and he also wanted to use his life skills to help people get out of a rut. And Te Tai Tukurau, most of those people are Māori, and so he's learning his tikanga Māori so he could help Māori who in mental health. And so my work, I believed, helped turn one one fella's racist attitudes around, and if that's what it takes, one at a time, or even if it's just one person, this course has helped me see through the fog and understand that he's in a system that makes them believe that we're dumb because that system's been doing that to justify all the wrongdoings to Māori, and that's why he thinks that way, and that's what I was able to convince him that that system had made him feel that way about Māori, and he got it. Although it took him 8 months of quiet treatment. At school, working with the 28 Māori Battalion, really for me, it's been huge learning for me. I thought I thought I knew a lot about. I look at the photos, and there's one particular photo that after this degree, I see it so much differently than when I first laid eyes on it. And so there's a photo of Sir James Henare marching the 28 Māori Battalion back on the 23rd of January 1946, and they're marching down the Wellington Quay in the harbour. And I remember when I first saw that photo, I saw a whole lot of soldiers marching back from war. A whole lot of Māori boys marching back from war. And that's what I saw. That's what I saw for years while I was working there. These soldiers, as I was myself, marching back from war. But the more I did the course, and also the more in my mahi that I got involved, and what I started seeing was I'd look at the photo and I think, what the hell? That's not a whole lot of soldiers marching back from war. That's a whole lot of young boys, a whole lot of sons of whānau, Māori whānau back in New Zealand that have been over to a war. And not only that, but these are the boys that are returning, but you add to that another 2 or 3 lines of men, and that's all the men, all the boys that didn't return. And I thought to myself, you add to that another 10 lines of people, 20 lines of people, and that's all the people that have been affected by those boys going to war. That's the mothers, the aunties, the grandparents, the uncles, the aunties, the sisters, the brothers, the nieces, the nephews. Holy shit, it just, that picture just transformed. And